So we're back onto this LT230, the noisy one. This one here now, JP's made me the bush for it. He just got it back this morning. He's also machined the pin here so it's nice and round, so it fits into there. It's going to be a nice snug fit. However, we have a bit of a problem when we came to put in calculating the tube, because originally, if you remember, we had a crush sleeve in there. Well, that was out. So what we do is we make these tubes here, and the one that we have, which is a stock one, and then we take it down, put it in our little jig, and then JP just chases off about 1/1000 of an inch off or two and puts them in, and they're all very much the same. But when we came to, so what I'm trying to say is, when we put this in our little setup, we have a little setup that goes in the vise and put the bearings in, and every bush that's oversized is too tight. So that means we need something a bit bigger, which is a puzzler, and I can't understand why. So JP and I looked at this for a little while, and it's got some snap rings inside here, circlips. And we were just wondering if somebody's pressed them in, the bearings in too tight, and buckled the circlips. Now, of course, I haven't got any, but we'll have a look. I've got some old used parts down there. We might be able to salvage some. So I'm going to take the bearings out, have a look at these snap rings, and this is a nice flat face, so we can put them on there and see if they're dished. So that's our plan. Well, I got the circlips out and I cleaned them all up, but there's no rock on them. You know, if they were coned, they'd rock a little bit, but they're not. I noticed these are Koyo bearings. They're not the same as Timkins, which I usually fit. The worst thing about it is I haven't got any more bearings. These are quite good, actually. There's nothing wrong with them. I had a bit of a chit chat with JP about these bearings. He says I wouldn't change them. He says they're all right. He says I've done nothing. So that's what he says, and then that's what he's going to get. There we go. One. So we'll put them back in. We'll go down to the machine shop again, and I've got a piece of stock tube here which we make these from, and we'll just have to make a custom one. I have no idea why that is. Strange. This box is a very strange one, and this is wait a minute, I was going to say to you, this is an old gear set. Let's have a look down here. This is the centre diff, and this has got what's called the broad teeth on here, you know, so that they'll be kind of okay but clunky. It feels good, the bearings are brilliant, everything's nice. It's got a bit of shop dust, I've got to wash it off. Inside it feels nice, you know. I've tried 2 shafts in, it feels good. So I'm going to give that another wash out because it's been on my bench a bit. But what I plan to do today, if I can get this all together, I've got every bit cleaned up, and you know, these are the original bearings. So what we're going to do is put it back together dry. That is to say, we're not going to put any sealer on, Loctite or anything. We're just going to assemble it and see how tight it is with the original shims, because this isn't giving me confidence at the moment to say that why aren't my tubes working. We should have to machine them down, so I don't know what's been going on here. But anyway, let's get back onto that and then get a bite of dinner, yeah, because lunchtime now, and then we'll get back down to JP's and put this in the little machine and see what gives. Right, we're just back from JP's shop. We've got some more bushings made, that's good. We've still got a piece of tube left, so we can make some more. And that's it. That's the tension on there. It should just have a little bit of resistance, not any more. But I thought to myself, just for fun, why don't we see what the old bush was like? We'll just put it in temporarily and see what it's like. Now this is interesting. I've just put that crush sleeve in, the original one, and I'm just going to tighten up the nut just a bit, and that's tight. See what I mean? I'm not sure. You know, that feels awfully tight to me. So we're going to put that one in. I'm going to swap them back over just in case I forget. So now I've just assembled the input gear here, and it's nice. It's not tight at all. It's just right. I've also put this output shaft on. Again, like I say, I reiterate, there's no sealer in here as yet. I've just nipped the bolts down. So the next thing I'm going to do is flip this over. We're going to clean off this, get the dirt off this dust, and then we're going to fit it inside here with the original shims and see what that's like. Well, this is the next day, the mystery continues. I've put the intermediate gear in without the O-rings and things like this, because I'm going to take it apart again anyway to seal it up. And lovely, you know, no binding, nothing. That's a mystery, isn't it? Look at that. Turns nice. Just a little bit of backlash on the gears, but that's it. There's no binding. So the next thing is I'm going to take the intermediate gear out again and then fit the differential and the cover and see what happens then. Hopefully something will bind up. I think we might have found out our problem. I'll just put the cover on, the centre diff in, and that is tight. I mean, it's got a bit of backlash there from the spider gears, but that's tight. So what that means is the shim in here is probably wrong. All the rest of it seems to be okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to strip all this unit down and calculate the shim for here, because that's just too much. I said it was tight when it was on the bench, eh? Things you learn, eh? Well, I'm not sure if you can see, but I've got all the gubbins stripped out of here. It's all gone. And it's tight as a tiger. So I bet you I know what's happened. I think what they've done is they've taken a cover off a TD5, because what was the date stamp on this? Oh no, it might not be. It's 98, but it's got a drilling in there for the shaft. That's what I can't understand. Anyway, I put 2 bolts back in, stripped all that out as I said, and you can't turn it. Look at that. I mean, it should be like this. Spin it around. So you're going to have to calculate the shim. That's not too bad a job to do. Take this one out. Sorry, you can't see, can you? We're going to take this one out, put a dummy bearing in with a small shim, put the DTI gauge on the top and calculate what it should be, and then add 0.05 millimeters. Right, so the shim that I just took out is 246 millimeters. Oh, wait a minute, this gauge is all over the bloody place today. 255, remember that. That's the original one, 255. So we're going to put something a bit smaller in. I did have, oh, it's here. We're going to put one in that's 2 millimeters. So that'll give us when we put our height gauge on, we'll be able to work out where it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our housing upside down, drop that shim in, and then with this one, this is the one that we need, put some grease on it. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll clean it up first. One damn thing about putting things with grease on, it picks up all dirt and manner and means of stuff. I have this is my first one, and I simply just cut it so it drops in and out, but then JP ground this one down for me, and we just put a bit of grease on it to hold it in place while we manoeuvre it into position. Alright, so that's that. So that should just slip nicely into there like that. Oh, give it a bit of a tippity tap down. And then we'll put it on here. Like that. Oop, not like that. Let's try this way, Michael. Now, what we want to do is we want to try and establish if it's the housing or it's the shimming. Because I haven't worked that out yet. What have I done with the bolts? Now, free as a bird. Free as a bird, so it's not the housing. Well, it isn't yet until we get some shims in. What do I do with them bloody bolts? I just took them out. Oh, there it is. So I'm just going to put 3 in just to be sure. To be sure. And then we're going to set up the height gauge. Right, I've set up the height gauge. I'm using my digital one because it's in millimetres and my other things in millimetres. I like millimetres better. So, I don't know if I can swing this around. Probably can't see. So at the moment, it's on 0.03. These things are so sensitive, you know, like trying to move them a little bit. But I've got a ball on the end, a ball bearing. And the idea about the ball bearing is, it's round, obviously. But even if the gauge isn't right in the middle of the peak, as you turn it round, it's still going to be on the same height. Difficult. If you put a flat plate on, it could be a bit wibbledy-wobbledy. I think that's what I might just do. Get JP to make us a turned bush or plate on here, like a thread, like a top hat, and then I could just screw it on. That'd be even better, wouldn't it? Things you get excited about. Anyway, so what we need now is a bar. Now remember, it was 0.2 of a millimetre, 2 millimetre. So that's 0.04. Bloody hell, I got it right first time, look. So what was it before? 5.5. It was 0.55 millimetres oversize. Now there's no lift. I'm trying to lift that and it does it. It's not moving it. And you know something? I think I'm going to leave it. I think that was a shot in the dark. But I'm going to leave it at that. Not unless the... Yeah, no, that's all right. You see how it moves, eh? 0.8. I wonder if I should get like an inchy type gauge out. Let's try that. Now I know why. I've got this set up on a mag mount for doing diffs. This is in inches, but the shaft size is a different size. This is a thin shaft. You know where it clamps through there, so that's no good, is it? I think that's alright, you know. That's just the spider gears turning around. The Spider-Man is having us for dinner tonight. No lift. No lift at all. That's me moving the shaft, is that? I like it like that. You know, the thing about it is, these are the original bearings and they've already been sort of preloaded because it was too tight. So there's no lift on it and it feels lovely. Oh, I wish you were here. Look, turn it one finger, listen. Lovely. Sometimes in life you have to cook while you're ahead. Well, there we are, it's all built back up again. If you're ever going to send a box away to me or anything like this, leave all the things like the speedo drives in, because that plug's not quite right and it leaks out the side. So I know it's not, I've just tested it with a smoke tester, but it leaks out the side of here, so I can't get a good reading. But it's sort of all there now, it's all built up and it turns over really nice, you know. It's not tight. I've been using this Permatex the right stuff on these joints, but I don't like it because it doesn't seem to set like a proper RTV where you can just scrape it off. I'm going to have to wait about that. But so I've done a pressure test, make sure all the all the bolts are in and stuff like this. The next thing to do is to put it on the bench. I think it'll be alright. Put some oil in it, but it turns over really, really nice now. So we'll get it oiled up. But like I said, this usually by now this stage I can go around it with a knife and cut the excess sealer off, but I don't know, just looks a bit of a mess. Alright, back soon. Well, there it is on the test bench. A lot quieter than it was. Yeah, that's not too bad, is it? All you can hear is the whirring of the gear in there, that's about it. It's about normal, really. They are a noisy box. But I'm going to leave it to run, get it run in. I'm going to put some, leave it for about an hour. It's got oil in it. And we'll see if it leaks or if there's any untoward noises or it seizes up. So far not too bad. Oh, I better plug my cooling fan in. Boy, it's snowing outside. I think we've had about 12 inches of snow in the last hour or so. I completely forgot about this. It's been on for 2 hours. What's it feel like? Oh, not bad. Not bad at all. So I think we're going to call that a pass. There's no oil leaking out of it. It's not overly noisy. It's running quite nice. What I'm going to try and do now is to take that 200 TDI engine off the stand over there, off the hoist, lift this up and put it back into its box so it can be delivered. But anyway, thanks for watching. It was kind of an interesting video to find out what the actual problem was. I'm glad we bossed it. I really am pleased we bossed it because it was a bit of a mystery, wasn't it? See you later. Ta-ra.